Thank you for joining us today. I'm David from the executive team. My name is Jen. I'll be speaking about cowpea seeds and the timeline.
Hi, my name is Mevish, and I'll be speaking about our partnerships and data science.
My name is Jose, and I'll be talking about CSR solutions.
My name's Caleb, and I'll be discussing our implementation strategy and our goals.
And my name is Melanie. I'll be discussing some of our current problems as well as training programs. So currently at Monsanto, our commitment to sustainable agriculture reads as such. Our vision for sustainable agriculture strives to meet the needs of a growing population to protect and preserve this planet for all of the people and to help improve lives everywhere. In 2008, Monsanto made a commitment to sustainable agriculture, pledging to produce more, conserve more, and improve farmers' lives by 2030. However, as of 2015, Bloomberg-Harris has published a poll that shows we are ranked as the 4th most hated company internationally. Clearly, that means there's a bridge that we need to gap that we need to bridge. We rank in the bottom quartile in almost every social category related to our industry peers, and it shows that we've really stagnated in trying to achieve our mission. This shows that we need to develop 21st century corporate social responsibility in order to further our mission, and Valentine's going to talk more about this mission right now.
So why CSR? To begin with, it aligns with our objectives, correct? But additionally, it also makes us more commercially diverse. It opens up market opportunities, and it also puts us on a good spot for the town wars. Now, what we propose is that we connect the Ghanaian farmers with the cow bean seed. Now, the way that we want to do this is we give it to them, and then we additionally give them educational infrastructure, and we also provide them with technological database so that it could go from subsistence farming to a more commercial farming. Next slide, please. So 24% of Ghanaian population lives below the poverty line. Now, 70% of that population lives in the northern area, which is the sub-Saharan area of Ghana. And additionally, 6 out of 10 households fail to produce beyond subsistence levels. So there's a clear need for us to really, there's a clear need, but there's also an opportunity that we can really take advantage of so that we could yield some positive results. And I'll pass my time to Mitch.
So we propose that the Monsanto Fund, which is the philanthropic arm of our company, creates a partnership with USAID, which will facilitate the creation of a partnership between us and ACDI VOCA, which is one of USAID's current subcontracting organizations. So ACDI VOCA currently has a program on the ground in Ghana called Advance 2, and the purpose of this program is to promote agricultural development among smallhold farmers in northern Ghana, as well as emerging commercial farmers throughout the whole country. And so we, in our implementation strategy, will work directly with ACDI VOCA as well as its partners on the ground in order to avoid the bureaucratic hurdles of working with a government agency like USAID. So there are a few value adds that we, Monsanto, bring to this already existing program, which Caleb will highlight through his going over the implementation strategy.
So the first step in our implementation strategy is providing smallhold farmers in the northern region. These are rural farmers with cowpea seeds. And cowpea seeds are the indigenous version of what we would call in the US black-eyed peas. In the second step, we would send training consultants from Monsanto to Ghana to work with existing Advanced 2 staff in spread of best agricultural practices. And then finally, step 3, we'll provide emerging commercial farms. These are farms that have already built an infrastructure to sell their products. They're producing beyond subsistence. And we will provide them with our cutting-edge climate data software. Now I'll pass it to Jen to discuss what exactly we're talking about with these cowpeas.
So cowpea seeds may not seem like the most interesting topic there is in the universe, but there's one key thing that you have to know about them is that they can be scaled in a commercially sustainable manner, which has been proven by the Deloitte study on early generation seeds for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Cowpeas are also indigenous to Africa. They're mainly sourced from Nigeria, which is a country near Ghana specifically, and is a great source of nutrition. It's 27% protein and has an abundance of vitamins, so it's really great for families that need protein and nutrition below the poverty line. Most importantly is that in sub-Saharan Africa, the soil is very depleted of nutrients and is very infertile. Cowpea specifically helps stabilize soil and preserve moisture, so it's very viable within the soil of sub-Saharan Africa, which is our target group. The Nigerian cowpea farmers saw a 25% increase in profit after they reached subsistence levels and started selling the surplus of seeds that they were creating and producing. So the seeds that we're getting are specifically from the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, which get their source of seeds from Nigeria themselves. Passing it on to Melanie.
So not only do we want to provide them with this crop, but we also want to provide them with that partnership. That being said, and with the training that goes along with that. That's why collaboration is very important to us and why we want to integrate that. That's why we chose a local partner to work with. We want to make sure that when we're presenting this to those farmers that we're learning from them too. We can't assume that we know every perception and everything we're going to experience while we're there. We want to work hand in hand with them and make this project as successful as it possibly can be and leverage our expertise. Monsanto has so much knowledge capital when it comes to these technologies in this industry. We want to use that so they can use best farming practices and optimize their yield and optimize the resources that they do have available, which hopefully will create long-term sustainability. We want to create independence in our farmers there. This isn't a short-term solution. We understand this is a process. We want to create that so this can continue to be a sustainable option in the future. Now I'm going to pass it on to Mevish. She'll speak more to the data and technology portion of that training.
So the third value add that we can offer to this program is our data science technology. So currently we have a digital agricultural platform that allows, it's called Climate Field View, and it gives farmers all the data that they need in order to make better informed decisions about their crops. So this is data about their fields, climate monitoring for the local area, agronomic modeling, and so basically we would be providing emerging commercial farmers, so as Caleb mentioned, farmers who have already reached beyond the subsistence level, who have an interest in selling commercially as well, who already have the infrastructure for this software and hardware. We would provide iPads so that they can access this app and not only produce a better harvest, but also create a more sustainable farming system. So now I'll pass it to Caleb to talk about our key metrics.
So obviously our strategy does come with some costs. Based on our calculations, we've estimated that Monsanto Fund would need to contribute $2 million to this ongoing project, matched by USAID. There is an opportunity cost associated with an integrated CSR approach. We could make a more straightforward investment, such as building a factory in Ghana itself, but this wouldn't align with our mission statement. That, yes, it would give us faster return on our investment, but we're looking to improve Monsanto's reputation and change headlines in a positive manner. So what are the goals that we're trying to reach? So currently, Advance 2, which is the project already on the ground in Ghana, has goals to increase farmer income by 30% and train 60,000 farmers. So what we want to add to that is a 5% additional increase in farmer income and to train 10,000 of those 60,000 farmers in cowpea farming specifically. And then finally, the third step of our project, we want to provide data technology to 25 emerging commercial farms that already have an infrastructure in place to utilize that technology effectively. And now to our long-term goals. So our long-term opportunities. So our main hope is that these farmers will begin to produce beyond subsistence and become commercially viable. So what will this do for Monsanto? It will provide us with new markets for our products and services, our pesticides, our seeds. It will provide us with supply chain options for our commercial international seed industry. And most importantly, change perceptions of Monsanto worldwide. Make those positive headlines.
So specifically in terms of timeline, in the first 2 months, we want to create a corporate team that's specifically geared towards philanthropy and has some form of knowledge of Ghana or Northern Africa specifically. Then after assembling that corporate team, we're going to send them to USAID and ACDI VOCAS themselves. And during that 6-month period, we want to create a concrete plan among the 3 organizations and create a better form of communication and partnership in that way. And then in the 2 years following after that, when we're giving out the seeds and helping the farmers become sustainable, we want to do a short-term goal evaluation and then determine whether there's more potential for further investment in general. In 5 years in total, we want to see if the farmers can reach subsistence farming and have a capacity to move into commercial farming. Commercial farming doesn't necessarily mean they have to be large. They can still be a small held farm, but still be making a surplus to producing seeds. In conclusion, I might pass it out to Mevish.
So our commitment to sustainable agriculture has a triple bottom line. We've pledged to produce more, conserve more, and improve the lives of people everywhere. We recognize that sustainability is a journey, not a destination. This program will help us advance towards creating an integrated 21st century leadership corporate social responsibility strategy at Monsanto to improve our image worldwide. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll gladly take any questions.
Perfect. We're going to call time. Okay, great. Questions?
You know what I'm coming back on, right? Kobe.
So cowpeas, why we chose cowpeas specifically instead of soybeans or water-resistant maize that we as a corporation already have to a degree, is that soybeans aren't viable in the northern region of Ghana because it requires a tropical form of soil. And also there is a GMO perception in Ghana that would make water-resistant maize a potential issue, because we want to go in there not saying that we're making this for profit. We're trying to actually build a entry into a new market. So specifically, Ghanans are 89% have awareness of GMOs, but a majority of them get their information from international radio. So
I see you were ready for me. You anticipated my question, except I was going there this time. I was going next door to Nigeria, that you said is a huge production of cowpeas. And we're going to establish or invest our significant portion of our investment in cowpea, while it is produced extensively in Nigeria. How does that work?
So the plan is to grow cowpeas because cowpeas are the quickest way for Ghana itself to develop. The plan is not for Monsanto to incorporate cowpeas specifically into the business model. Once those farmers are able to produce beyond subsistency, and their soil is at an efficient level, they can start producing our other crops. As we change GMO perceptions, we can start growing our BT maize there. Our BT cotton could also grow there, as well as soybeans. So it's not about selling cowpeas in the end, in the long term. It's about getting them to a level that they can begin to sell other crops sustainably.
To add on to that, specifically, Ghana has a lot of different primary cash crops that we do have seeds for. Specifically, tomatoes is their largest crop as a whole region, but the problem is 70% of the 24% that is in poverty is in northern Ghana, and those soils and soil fertility is what's lacking. So once they can reach a level of subsistence and the people are coming out of poverty, then and be able to produce a greater income, can they actually become part of the community in a marketable way and through the other cash crops.
So your strategy is use cowpea seeds to get attraction and prove GMO is working, Monsanto is okay to help you. Once you have that settled down, then you can start doing something else.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of having a local program already. That's already going on, as some of the other teams mentioned. That traction's already there. So we are going in, and they are already focusing on Ghana. We're like, what is the best way to utilize the resources that Ghana has? So we create traction, we create partnerships, we create trust in those communities, so that we can grow from that.
So they don't have to eat the cowpeas forever.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I think you said that we're using the cowpeas to show that GMOs work. I think this might have been what you said, but just to clarify, it's actually to improve the nutrient levels of the soil so that the soil is able to grow these other crops that
Double action.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So these are not GMO
They're not.
No,
peas? Okay.
The idea of improving GMO perceptions is that we'd have people on the ground to educate them instead of them getting their information from other sources such as international radio, controlling the narrative inside of Ghana.
And instead of starting at the argument of trying to convince them to use a GMO, first we say we have this natural product that they're much more open to already in their environment, and use that, utilize it. We tell you how to do that best and work with you, and then we have more trust and partnership so that we can change the perception eventually so people feel more comfortable planting our seeds of GMOs in the future.
So, if I may just continue, you're going to work with, something unclear to me, you're going to work with the commercial farmers? They're the ones that are going to get the education, get the iPads?
It's twofold.
for your
So
training?
there's both emerging commercial farms. It's not large-scale international farms. It's farms that have shown an interest in pursuing commercial activity. Farms that are already doing good work in agriculture, but they can't necessarily sell their products effectively yet. They're receiving some of the training through Advanced 2. What we're providing them is our laptops and some expertise, but the rest of our project is focused on bringing the rural farmers up to those levels.
So how are you going to connect those two?
In what sense, I'm sorry?
the commercial farmers that are not yet viable, that are, you're providing educational and educational tools, and you're talking about targeting the rural farmers, how are those two initiatives linked?
So-
Jen, can you, the advanced two page. So an important part of the Advanced 2 project is fostering relationships between the emerging commercial farms and these up-and-coming rural farmers. So providing them investment opportunity, the commercial farms with investment opportunities to expand, to start buying products from the rural farmers. So it's creating connections between the farmers already. That's already happening.
So those two types of farmers are already the types of farmers that this ACDI VOCA, the program itself, is already working with. So by working through them, we're working with both the smaller held rural farmers that aren't working at a subsistence level, and farmers that are trying to become more be commercially sustainable.
So do your goals that you laid out of adding 5% to the 30% get to that subsistence level, or get them to a point where they can, be profitable and start to have a viable business, or even be able to feed their families and have and then the 25 farmers as well. How did you pick 25? And again, is that enough to have an impact to really say, we've made, we've done dramatic things in Ghana?
25 is a reasonable number for us because there's not a massive amount of commercial, international level farming going on. So if we went to a bunch of farmers, all these rural farmers, and gave them all iPads, we don't think that that would be the best use of our time and money. We're choosing the 25 best potential farms. So we are going to put a lot of effort into these specific farms in order to get the biggest impact the quickest we can.
And furthermore, we wanted to start with a smaller number because it is a pilot project. And like I said, part of having our people there working on it is that we're collecting data as we're doing it. We're reassessing it every interim of the project because we want to understand that things change. We have to be flexible with something like this. So we want to be there, work with them, see how it's doing, and not make a huge investment and dump our resources towards something that maybe potentially we need to rescale and evaluate. So we're starting with a very small pilot program so that we can best see how that works, and then connect that in with that bigger number of 10,000 farmers and try and connect those and further and expand it in the future.
What about the 5%? Sorry.
In addition to her point is the fact that Monsanto owns 45% of the seed market in South Africa. We're trying to replicate that market in Northern Africa at this time.
What's the timeline that you're expecting this to be completed in? How do you assess whether you did a good job or a bad job?
So our timeline, so we have our 2 months, which is us developing our team, and then we have our 6 months. And then the current Advanced 2 project, the reason we started with 2 years as kind of our first longer goal was because that's when the Advanced 2 project ends. So that's our first step in evaluation. That's when the partnership would be reevaluated. Everyone would see how the partnership's going. Then our goal is in another 3 years, if we continue it and work with the previous work that we're already doing, that would be our chance to see, okay, is this turning into the supply chain and the other business opportunities in the future?
And going off of that, the reason why there's also 2 years, it's Advanced 2, so it's step 2 of the project. This project has already been going on since 2009. It's been proven successful, which we extended into a part 2. And so we want to see if it's viable for further extension for further years.
Yes.
Can you go back to your financial slide? Is it 2 million or 1 million investment from us?
It's 2 million from us.
And then there's another 2 million that you're counting out from USAID?
Yes.
Because
What are the chances, are you concerned about being able to get that other 2 million?
Well, I think the way that their partnerships work, through our research, we found that they match whatever their private partner pledges to invest.
And you can turn that around in 6 months without any concerns?
So part of the reason that we decided to make that team in the first place was because we thought about that. We said, we have to create something that they're going to be interested in too. Why does this benefit their mission as an organization as well? There has to be benefit on both ends of the spectrum. And so that's why we started. We wanted that 2 months first, that we could develop our plan, specialize our people, and then that's why we put a whole 6 months aside of partnership discussions with USAID so that they feel comfortable matching our commitment.
Will the 2 million last, or the 4 million last for all 5 years of this program?
Only 2 more years left.
For only 2 more years?
Yeah.
I have one concern about the iPad. do you have any kind of apps on cell phone instead of iPad? Because if you give farmers iPad, they are not going to work. They want to play games. Their kids going to take over. And it happens in America too. There's no way your grandkids, the kids going to take over your iPad. So I'm very concerned about that iPad.
So we actually have like a mobile platform as well that is compatible with an iPhone, but the reason we chose the iPads is
Yeah.
because,
And I need to call time.
oh, okay.
Thank you.